everyone. I think I'm just gonna start billing myself as the only sane one on this broadcast.
Jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin.
There we go. Cranky isn't cranky anymore. Alyssa's cranky.
You know what I want to see in the forest? I want to see a unicorn. Want all you want. Wish in one hand, but poop in the other.
Well, hello, fellow addicts. Welcome back to Addicts Live. Albeit a little late, we're running a little behind because of some technical difficulties. And Sir Elton John over there is giving us a little bit of a problem. This week is our Halloween Spectacular, and it appears we put more effort into Halloween than EA has this year. For those who don't know, I'm Alyssa, the resident head addict, and donning a costume made by my 2-year-old. But if you can't really tell, what I really am secretly is a really pissed off baseball fan. The scariest of them all. Worse than a pissed off hockey fan, I'll tell you that. And joining us on... Listen, it's true. Right now it's true. And joining us on the show this week... let's see, we'll go to our resident fuzzball.
I cannot concentrate.
You have to ask him what he's dressed as.
Because I'm pretty sure that, like, something is going on at Pat's place. I'm afraid the Scientologist.
Help me! Help
Maybe we
me.
should have waited a few more minutes. Maybe we should have waited.
It's the Scientologist.
Just tell him, na 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 leader.
What?
So what are you dressed as?
I am dressed as
You're a Scientologist.
a skipper who found a port.
You're a Scientologist on it. You're a Scientologist on Safari. That's all.
No, this is a porg. Just remember, friends, all will be assimilated. We are the porg. Resistance is futile.
And
So yeah.
Wow.
Elton John over there, are you ready? Or are you good? Or what's
Sure,
going on?
I'm moving. I'm moving through my house. I'm trying to go down back to my studio again after completely MacGyvering my setup here. I wish I could send you a picture of what I'm using here. I've got my iPhone hooked to a tripod with a tripod connector because my wife stole my computer. That's right. I said it on public TV. My wife stole my computer.
It's on the internet. It's forever now.
Where did you get that lovely
Yes.
My Little Pony mask?
This is compliments of McDonald's. The Happy Meal, the Happy Meal this week, and it was so nice that I went through twice so Deb could have one too. It's all good. Okay.
This podcast this week is sponsored by... No, just kidding.
That's right, exactly.
I'm loving it.
But reminder, you can't have it your way because it's not Burger King. So let's come back to Patrick. Safi, joining us this week back from his adventures in Florida, is Super Safi. Clearly, he didn't get the message about dressing up for Halloween, or he just decided to dress as the worst baseball team ever.
Not the worst.
Wow.
We did make it to 2 straight ALCS. I mean,
Well, you're not the Red Sox, so it's okay. You're not really the worst.
but yeah, it's good to be back. I'm one of the boys.
How was Florida? Good?
It was nice. I got to go to Universal. I go to Springfield. Had a Flamin' Moe's. The Simpsons ride was great. Weather was phenomenal. Also went to Disney World. Went on the Avatar ride. So had a great time.
So for everybody watching or listening to this later, if you're watching this, you know why there's all these weird noises happening because Patrick is MacGyvering things over there. But if you're listening to this on the podcast version, we apologize for the crappy audio right now.
It's great. The audio is great, and so is my face.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. I'm done. I'm done banging around, I promise.
Okay, good. We're good? So Elton John's back.
Okay, I'll be Elton John. That's fine.
I mean, that's honestly what you remind me of right now, Elton John. I'm not even gonna lie.
Blue jean baby.
I'm still standing even after all that noise.
Nice. Okay. All right, let's dive. I'm sorry.
All
Here we
right.
go.
So Patrick, I mean, it's almost impossible to take you as somebody that's cranky dressed like that. I'm not gonna lie.
Absolutely.
The inner cranky is here. Trust me.
So everybody, this is what Patrick looks like on the inside.
Please, people, take screenshots and make GIFs.
Wow. All right then.
All right. So remember, everybody watching, this is meant to be interactive. So ask your questions, share your comments, and let's get to chatting. So here we are, guys, or boys. It's hard. It's really hard to take Patrick seriously.
Hey.
Oh man. So here we are, boys and Elton John. It's just about a week until Halloween, and are we feeling the Hallo-Richard in Springfield yet?
No.
Not at all.
In fact, the Richard part is definitely getting bigger. We'll just leave that line all by itself. But the point is today, or no, I guess last night,
never mind.
late. No, don't go there. Last night, I actually enchanted Crawl, and he's all done now. And now none of my characters earn any currency, and I'm just going, why are they doing this to us? Now it's absolutely 4 hours, 2 taps, store the crap that I got, and I'm on. Okay, there's the inner cranky coming out.
So before we
do earn you stuff.
Jeez.
So wait, before we dive into the Halloween event, or not, lack thereof.
Too late.
This week we've done, instead of a poll question, because I know everybody ridicules me when I do poll questions because I don't put your answer on there. We've done a thought-provoking question. We want to know, and we're going to talk about it at the end of the show, so write it in the comments. We want to know what your favorite Halloween memory, and when did you stop trick-or-treating, and did you ever trick-or-treat, and what's Halloween like for you now? So we'll talk about that at the end of the show, but I just wanted to put a little reminder out there for you guys to do that, and we'll get to your responses towards the end. So make sure you comment, and then we'll talk about it ourselves. All right, Patrick, let's beat the dead horse.
I think
Have your thoughts changed about Halloween?
About this update, you mean, or Halloween in general?
Oh, sorry, about this event. Sorry.
No, and they've gotten worse. And if you remember last time, I was actually kind of semi-defending it, saying, oh, it doesn't bother me that much. Harry Potter's fun, blah, blah, blah. I was trying to get into Ninnyville, as I think I branded it last time. I am way out of Ninnyville. I don't want anything to do with a border crossing. I don't want a visa. I want nothing to do with it. This update blows, period. There we go.
You don't want to be in Ninnyville because we're all Yankee fans in Ninnyville.
I like
No,
the
we're
Yankees.
not.
Okay. I like the Yankees. It's okay.
Listen, Joe, you're not in Ninnyville. I'm the queen, okay?
Yes.
I am the queen of Ninnyville.
I got kicked out of Ninnyville?
Okay,
Yes.
So I'm clear on one side. Does anybody of the four of us have a differing view of this update?
No, it sucks.
Okay.
You know what? I love every event, but yeah, it's really hard to come up with positives for this one. Yeah, so I gotta agree with you guys.
I was telling. Go ahead, Joe.
I actually don't hate it as much as I initially did. I love that it's super easy. Yes, it's not Hallo-Richard. It's not Halloweeny, and it's not the in-between word that we talked about last episode. But Pat, you can earn stuff if you send the monster on the 4-hour like rampage around town. You earn like pixie dust and gold every time you do that. So
yeah, no, I know that. But those are the things. But then they come back and you have a whole bunch of clutter that you have to stick away that you can't sell or get rid of. It just fills up your storage. I know. I
your storage is unlimited.
No,
unlimited power.
I get it. The problem is that by taking 4 players out of the game, now you're down to 3 enchanted folks and whatever you hit every 4 hours to clear your little weasels that are running around your town. That's it. I mean, the whole thing literally takes 45 seconds every 4 hours.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I don't know.
Okay.
I think my thing, if I don't like what the theme of the event is, I would rather it take me 45 seconds than if it had been like a long slog doing all this Harry Plopper stuff. I
don't want to know about Harry
So,
Poppers.
It's really easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, just 45 seconds. You're in, you're out. Really didn't have much time this week with work and feeling a little under the weather, and it's great. You could just go in quick, tap a few things, send your beast and release again, and you're pretty much done for 4 hours. I mean, I didn't play it all the last 12, 14 hours, and I'm still working on the 6th prize. So, I mean,
yeah.
easy.
It's like Tinder dating or something. I mean, swipe left, swipe
I swipe right.
In and out, gone, goodbye. It's terrible.
The big thing is, and I was telling Patrick this before we came on air and the other guys joined us. The sad thing about this is I think EA thinks that this is good. I think that when they put this out, they were like, "Oh, this is awesome! Look what we did! Look at this! Look at that!" Listen, this would be much better if this event was in June. Yeah. Everybody has really high hopes for Halloween every year because it's the one. Halloween and Christmas are the 2 events every year that we know we're gonna get. Like we know, like that's so we can take it to the bank that we know that Halloween we're gonna get something and Christmas we're gonna get something. Everything else we never know what the event's gonna be, what the theme is gonna be. So it feels like EA did what happened to me as a child and put a hole in my candy bag and took all my candy.
Yeah.
Not only did they ruin Christmas, not only did they punch Santa in the belly last year, this year they took all my candy.
No, they really should have Charlie Brown in here and just keep giving us rocks. Just be done with it. You know, it's for those of you who remember the infamous Charlie Brown special, Halloween special, which was more Halloweeny than this update, by the way. Charlie Brown always got a rock trick-or-treating. So I don't know what to do with my scarf. I tried to find something that was like color-coded. It's just not working. Just doesn't.
I had to take my batting gloves off. They were getting too sweaty, but yeah, I just want to give a shout out to Batman and my batting gloves.
For those listening to this, this is the audio only version on the podcast. I will take a screenshot of Patrick post show and I will put it in the show notes of this post because everybody needs to see this because it's just too much. And you'll understand why I said he looks like Elton John.
After Kingsman 2, Elton John is so hot right now. So
okay.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. So Charles adds, because we just talked about this about Patrick saying you can't use your players. Charles is saying, but you can use your players to earn cash and donuts on the monorail. So yes,
but
it frees up your
I've always been able to do that.
Well, I guess he's saying that it frees up your character, so an event doesn't limit you from doing that.
I'm aware. I got it.
But
yeah, God, put a rosy butt on that one. No, the whole idea of having the skins and having the characters is you're supposed to do something with them.
I've opened up the gates of Ninnyville and I've let Charles in.
Okay, all right.
I've rated him and everything. Yeah. We're good, you know.
Yeah. Well,
so, but in Ninnyville, Patrick, Elton John is not a sir. Just so you know.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
He's not a knight.
No, and I'm fine with stripping Paul McCartney as well. I don't need sirs on Sir Paul.
Wow.
I'm done.
No. Paul McCartney. Oh boy.
Wow.
This show just went way off the rails. This is what happens when we get a crappy event to talk about. It's hard to talk about it, so we go off the rails.
There we go.
So yeah.
Well, we can talk about the craftables. You know what I noticed about this event compared to other events? Other events, it's been a little hard to get the event currency and like unlock all the prizes. But craftables, most people before the first act is even over have unlocked all the craftables for the full 42-day event. And this time, I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, I think I'm on level 8 of craftables right now.
Yeah, but most of the craftables are stuff you already have.
Yeah, I don't even care.
True.
I mean, I have all of the stuff except for the stuff I don't want, and it's like, okay, I did one of one and one and one. I'm done. I don't care. I already have all the good stuff from 2 Halloweens ago.
I can see Wookie's face right now. He's like, "Why did I wake up early for this?"
Sorry.
I'm like, I plan on making a really cool, like, magical school of not magic and not wizardry. Or whatever. I'm gonna use that corridor in the towers. So and I think I'm at the corridor, so I'm pretty far in the craft.
No,
room.
I've got that, and I've actually built a nice little Potterville with the village, and I'm trying to kind of recreate our experience at Universal in my mind. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that part, but realistically, grinding to keep getting the message, you already have one of these. Duh. I know. I got it 2 years ago.
Oh, did you just like, is it our fault that this happened because we went to Universal and had fun in Harry Potter Land?
Yeah,
It's
I'm
our
blaming
fault.
it all on us. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm an American, so it is all about me. Isn't that right, Safi? So
Whatever you say, our overlords.
I mean, you know, he is our funny northern cousin, but you know, yeah, it's huge.
Possible. I mean, they would have to have really busted buns to do a whole update. Actually, you know what? Conspiracy theorists abound. It's possible that that's why this is so lame, is that they went, oh my God, the Addicts went to Harry Potter. Let's do that. And they did it really late.
How mean was that?
Fault.
After the event at the very end, they have NPCs of us just so everybody hates us. Like, game's over, folks. Hate the Addicts.
Yeah, it's a good thing I trademarked those.
Yeah.
We're safe.
Yeah, it's also, you know, I'm just going to come right out and say, look, I love Harry Potter. I love the experience. But the butterbeer thing, no. That's just like, how many quarts of sugar in 1 teaspoon can you get? It's
Butterbeer's
incredible.
delicious. The only thing I like about Harry Potter.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's addictive. Yeah, I got it.
That and the mirrors that talk to you is the only thing I like about Harry Potter World.
The mirrors.
When you're in the bathroom, not the mirrors, the voice in the bathroom.
I was like, when did the mirrors talk to you, Alyssa?
You would have been in the girls' room. You don't know.
That wasn't butterbeer she was drinking, by the way. No, the thing that's cool is I thought was cool was the enchanting things that you had to do in the shop windows. That was very cool. Watching grown adults waving a wand over and over again at the window was worth every bit of admission. So. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Really
We're way off.
Inappropriate joke right now, but I won't.
I know.
I've made plenty.
Don't go there.
All right, let's do one more thing about Halloween before we jump to our hot topic. Suddenly we're on The View. Is Halloween, is it too easy? Like, is EA setting us up for something because this is really easy? Like,
it's just lazy. It's just lazy programming.
No, I really think that they legitimately thought that this was good. Like, I don't think that they intentionally gave us crap. I think that they were like, oh, look at this. They've been really wanting this and that. And we got this. No. But I think it's too easy. I think that, I mean, I see some things that might happen in Act 3, and I'm hoping that they pan out the way I think that they're going to happen to make it a little more exciting. But ultimately, I think that this is just way too easy, and it's making me slightly nervous that we've been whining and complaining too much about things. No, I don't think the game's ending, but that we've been whining and complaining about things and how difficult they are, that EA said, here, you want something easy? Here you go. And now everybody's complaining that it's too easy.
I think it's just lazy programming. I mean, it feels incomplete to me. It just feels like they didn't think it through, and it's as simple as that. I just think it's lazy programming. It's elfish. So
not to be confused with elfish. That's Jose Altuve.
Correct.
Sorry, that was a funny joke, but bad joke.
It would have been funnier if he actually did poorly, but he had a pretty good game yesterday.
Yeah, but then he was like 0 for 16 the last 3 games before that. So Aaron Judge hit a home run too, and it hit the train. So.
I love me some Aaron Judge. That guy's a beast.
He's going to be a phenomenal player.
Wow. Anyway, so
this is not a baseball podcast, I promise. I'm just really pissed off.
Really?
One more game.
I don't have the patience for another game. I can't do it again. I can't do another elimination game. I went through 3. Can't do another one.
Yeah. It's all right. Whoever goes to the World Series is going to lose to the Dodgers, so it's okay.
I don't think the Dodgers are that good. Look at the teams they played.
Wow.
They weren't that good.
So for all of you English people that are chiming in here, baseball is very much like cricket.
So the Brits love the Yankees.
I'm just trying to get it back on the rails here.
All right. Sorry.
Imagine
Sorry.
that. Me trying to get it on the rails. Amazing.
This is not a baseball podcast.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
While wearing a My Little Pony mask.
You can't prove it. I don't think it looks like My Little Pony at all. I mean, let's debate that.
I legitimately think you look like Elton John.
I'm fine with that. I'm good. I like Elton John.
You are legitimately like Princess Sparkle or whatever the name is. My daughter loves this stuff. I've seen My Little Pony. You are certainly a My Little Pony.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It just doesn't. It looks more like a cat to me. I mean, I'm sorry, but anyway, go ahead.
Initially, when you came on, I thought you were wearing a Tigger mask.
There you go.
But I didn't see very well. Like I could only see the little. So I thought it was a Tigger mask, and the lighting wasn't good. But now I can see that it's My Little Pony.
Okay.
It totally is.
Okay.
All right. So let's jump to our hot topics. I know we're all going to have a lot to say about this. Let's talk about donut farming. Safi wrote a very detailed post on our site. What, Saf? Like a year ago, almost.
Well, yeah, almost 2 years probably.
About how to farm for donuts. It's not a new concept. Two and a half years ago, Wookie wrote a post about the Bloodmobiles when they hit our game, how you can farm Bloodmobiles and get donuts. EA's made it a lot easier for everybody with the taking away level updates, changing XP requirements. So Safi's written a very detailed post about that. We're not here to talk about why you shouldn't donut farm or why you should donut farm. What we're here to talk about is the what donut farming could mean for the future of TSTO. My fear, and I've expressed this in the comments a few times, my biggest fear is donuts are becoming so easy to get that it's actually changing the structure of the game. It's changing the economy of the game. And what's going to happen is donuts are going to become irrelevant, and EA is going to introduce a third premium currency, because they kind of already have, where you actually physically have to spend cash to get stuff. Or gift cards or whatever, but you're not gonna be able to earn stuff for free. The nice thing about donuts has always been there's ways to get donuts for free in the game. My fear is that EA has changed the tables on us because they realize that they screwed up. It's no one else's fault but EA's. They screwed up in how they did it. I don't think they thought people would manipulate the system as much as they do, or use it to get thousands upon. I mean, there are people, not everybody, but there are people out there that have 20,000 donuts from donut farming. I think that's a little excessive. So just a little. So my fear is we're going to start seeing more things like Squeaky Boys Teen, Peasant Squeaky Boys Teen, and then we had Jebediah Springfield, we had Shelbyville Manhattan, we had all those items that you had to actually physically spend cash on. And that's my fear of what's going to happen in this game. They're going to introduce this third premium currency that is just cash. I don't know, what do you guys think?
I think it's a chicken and the egg thing. Part of the thing I have with donut farming, and the reason I don't do it, is that it's grinding intensive. It takes a lot of effort to do it. I think that it's clearly a loophole. If they really wanted to plug it, they could have plugged it years ago. They don't seem to care. I mean, again, I don't know if it's EA just being lazy, or like Microsoft trying to go back and fix code that they blew up in 1996 that still allows, you know, weird bots to get through. But the bottom line is they're not going to change that reality. What I'm not nearly as worried about the whole thing with the squeaky voice, you know, you have to buy this to get this. I don't think they could do that for the number of things they release in an event. So I'm not really worried about that. What I am worried about is that I don't think there's enough stuff of real value to people that are, you know, that play the game to build their towns, to play the game to do the updates and those kinds of things. I don't know that there's enough stuff for value. And so when I go and look at people that donut farm, almost always they have a profusion of just clutter, just stuff. They buy it because they can. And it's a weird economy. It's a weird, you know, social statement about people that just buy it because they can buy it. And at some point it just becomes, well, what's the fun of this? I don't get it. So I don't know. I think that's the bigger question, is the quality of the events is going down. The prices of premium stuff is going up. It seems like a bad metric for the game being popular in the future. There you go. Spoken like an economist, I guess.
Look, What do you think?
I sort of agree with Pinkie Pie.
Pinkie.
Okay. I looked it up. That's the name of the pony you're wearing on your face. Pinkie Pie. So,
the pony I'm wearing on my face. Let's not go there.
Yes.
I'm
just stating the facts for our listeners that aren't watching. Pat has a pony on his face. I'm holding a pork. Safi likes the Toronto Blue Jays, and Queen Alyssa, while she's not wearing her cardboard crown anymore, she is drinking her coffee, and she's wearing an orange no, it's not cardboard. It's
construction paper.
Yeah, construction paper, and it's made beautifully by a 2-year-old. It's delightful.
She told me to wear it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought about this, and the problem is that I do spend money on donuts, and I don't know that there's enough donut farmers to make that currency lose its value. Are we going to have one bad apple that'll spoil the barrel? And I mean, the squeaky voice teen, it was what, $5, I think is what you had to pay in donuts to get him. So it was actually online with what those normally cost. And I think maybe they just do it every once in a while as like an infusion. If you really want it, you spend it. But if you don't, it didn't affect anybody. He doesn't even help with the monster, so it's not like people lost.
No, and there you go. Yeah. There's the weakness of the whole concept. Is we spent money, we got it. I did spend money. I actually spent money. It was a good deal. You got the bonus things back, and now it doesn't do anything for the event. It's unbelievably lazy. It's just small thinking.
Well, he does earn crafting currency.
Hardly.
Saf, what do you think? Because you're the resident donut farming expert.
Okay, well, here's the thing with donut farming. I feel like a lot of people, they're just constantly in it to increase their bonus percentages. I'm seeing like astronomical 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 XP percent. That's just like getting news vans and billboards, and like Patrick said, getting everything and just having a giant clutter. Since I did that post, I'm only at like 800%. And I do it from time to time. It's not like I'm constantly on a 4-hour nonstop, but I see oftentimes in comments, oh, you should just do it every 4 hours. Just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And it does become like a grind. Is it really that fun? So as far as the premium purchases, yeah, I did. I bought 3 things. I bought the Squeaky Voice Teen skin deal. I also bought Jebediah Springfield and bought Sprungfield. Not Sprungfield, sorry. Shelbyville, Manhattan. And I didn't buy the other things, but yeah, I feel like we might see more and more of those type of purchases coming in. Whenever EA needs like a shot of funds from the game, they might just add another character in there to try to entice us.
Yeah, I don't even mind 1 or 2 per event. It doesn't bother me at all.
I think if they brought back a guild deal, like a true old school guild deal where you spent money and you got double the donuts, or you got discounted donuts, whatever it was, people would buy them. I think, that's a big thing. But my concern lies with, like I said, that they're creating that 3rd level of currency, because right now, while it's minor, it's not really anything right now. It's like, okay, here's a character, here's a skin that doesn't help, but they're progressively changing what it is. So the first time it was just these extra characters. Here you go. Here are these extra characters. If you want them, spend money. Now they're introduced Squeaky Voice Teen, who has relation to the event in a sense, but also earns crafting currency. Now that's the next step. My concern next is they're going to go with, here, you want a character that's going to help you? Here, spend $20.
Well, it's kind of that way now, because everything else in this event has been rendered impotent. And so you have to, I keep using those analogies, I'm sorry. Anyway, if you want to get something that earns some currency for the update, you do have to spend money on some level. So it is a weird push-pull. I just think the profusion of stuff they're trying to introduce in any event, though, is going to preclude them from doing any, from making that an actual currency. They'd have to have, 15 offers that you buy every event, which I don't think they will do. But we'll see.
I think another thing that you kind of touched on, Alyssa, was the new economics of the game, where just because everyone's getting donuts so easily, prices seem to be going higher. Like that Burns Dragon for $199, $199.
But do you remember? I mean, you guys have all played this game for a long time, and Safi, I think you were around Halloween 2013.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Do you remember right around that time, Luann came out? Luann was 150 donuts.
Right.
Everybody lost their freaking minds about it. Oh my God, 150 donuts. That's crazy. What is EA doing? Da, 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 da. Now, the average price for a character and a building combo is 150 donuts. I mean, it's very rare that you find one for less than. If it's not 150, it's 145. Sorry. But it's very rare that you find a character right around 100 to $120, 120 donut sweet spot, which is why I say when you see one, buy it because it's rare. So that's another concern. It's
25, yeah.
It's like the expression of, and I'm not, this is not a, there's a couple readers that, and you know who you are, I'm not going to mention you by name, but there are a couple readers that donut farm and they love donut farming and but they don't abuse it. And I have no problem with that. I'm more or less concerned with, there's a few that, like when you're in school, you're in elementary school and there's a couple kids that are talking when you're supposed to get a reward and your teacher's like, if one more person talks, you're going to ruin it for everybody. And that person talks and the whole class gets screwed. That's kind of how it feels. One or two, it's more than one or two, but one or two people are ruining it for 30 other kids. And that's what's happening with the game. I fear. Now,
I don't know, percentage-wise, though, the millions of people that play the game, I'm going to guess that most people don't even know about donut farming or wouldn't go to the trouble. I mean, it really is a very small percentage, I think, of the overall matrix. But, it's annoying. It's got to be annoying for EA that these guys, bust it and they basically flaunt it. That's really the difference, I think, is that when you see people posting, I have multipliers in the thousands and I have, 1,500 donuts. It's like, yeah, okay. Stop saying that. Please.
Well,
Thank you.
As the person on the site that writes 99% of the shit I buys, nothing irritates me more than when somebody says, well, I bought it just because I had the donuts to spend on it.
I agree.
Nothing irritates me more because especially as somebody who spends literally hundreds of dollars in the game, and it's my choice to do that. I'm not saying, it's my choice not to donut farm. I choose to put the money in the game because I don't have patience to donut farm. I get it. Yeah. But nothing irritates me more than when somebody goes, well, I just had all these donuts. It's equivalent to, in my mind, a hacker saying that. Yes, you worked for the donuts. I get it. But to say, oh, I just spent it because I had it. Like I don't know.
Well,
it irritates
I think it's deeper than that. I'm not sure that I would go so far as to say hackers because it's truly something that's been in the game that they glitched, that they blew up a long time ago. But I would go so far as to say hoarders. I mean, these are people that have got a little bit of I'm not going after anybody specifically, but there's a little bit of a screw loose that you spend all of your time doing that. I think the most valuable commodity we have in life is time, as we've said many times before. And I'm not willing to dedicate that much time to something that is a digital bauble that could go away with the flip of a server switch. I'll just, I'm not going to do it. So that's weird to me. I don't get it.
I haven't decided if Wookiee's sleeping or reading.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm playing my game.
I'm so glad because you were looking down at something and I didn't really want to know what it was. So we were fine. I'm glad you had a phone down there. We're all happy.
Yeah. I just got corn and I just got another praise land fence that I don't need. And I got another crosswalk because my new goal in life is for every single road in my town to be highlighted with those rainbow crosswalks.
Wow.
Nice. No, but I'm not gonna grind to do it. I'm just gonna slowly. So first the LGBT district, they'll have fabulous roads, and then we'll move from there.
Let me tell you one thing. I will confess to one envious thing. Okay, with the donut farmer bit. The only thing that I really kind of think is cool, and I see it in towns, and I go, "Ah, damn it! I wish I had that." Is the dam, and you have to have a gazillion donuts to earn the dam. I'm sorry, you have to go.
No, you don't. You just have to have cash.
Yeah,
it's like 20 million cash.
cash and grinding and cash all add up to the same thing. Most of the people that did it are the same people that grind to get the thing, to get the XP, to get the whatever. So it all kind of goes hand in hand. And I'm not anywhere near.
So what you're saying is you don't like grinding. So you wouldn't survive in a nightclub is what you're telling me.
Wow. Shake my
that costume, I don't know if he would survive.
Well, no, he's all about grinding against, just as it's him, not him against.
He doesn't want to be the one that's grinding. He wants to be.
He wants
the
to
one
be
that's
I'll be the
grindee, not the grinder.
The grindee.
Okay, wow. Okay. Once again, I feel very bad for everybody listening today in the podcast only, because it just makes no sense until you see my costume. So
it's okay, Pinkie Pie. We love you, Pinkie Pie.
It's all right.
All right, let's take a few reader comments on this, because they are jumping in, and we know that this is a hot topic, and it gives us something honestly to talk about besides the Hallo-Richard. All right, so Charles says you buy many items to complete quests. I don't know. I'm assuming that that's just about buying things. Silly Boy says, I think everyone should play the game in the fashion that makes them happy as individuals, short of cheating. Silly Boy also adds, and my house phone is ringing, awesome podcasting. Silly Boy also adds, I'm watching and sighing. If EA wants to get rid of farming, all they have to do is put a cap on any given building, like Quickie Marts. Yes, but we've all been through the experience of EA trying to change the XP requirements and everybody freaking out, and 20 hours later they lowered them again.
Yeah. No,
in this game
EA is pretty weak in this.
Yeah, in this game, enough people complain about something, EA makes a change. It happens with everything. When we had tap ball with the community prize lowering, they lowered I can't even speak right now. During tap ball, the community prize point requirements were so high that everybody complained and EA lowered them. No. It happens all the time. Prize currency. Oh, it's too hard. EA lowers them. So EA is a sucker to the masses. So.
Well, I think what's hilarious on this one, having done the calendar and had to make the change at the last second, is that they heard that people were saying it was too easy, so they made it harder by 100 points. It was like, really, you bumped it up by a percentage of like 2%. Wow, boy, well, you showed us.
Patrick, Charles has a comment for you. It says, okay. Once you get your bonus percent up to 2,000 plus. You can generate enough donuts to buy new premium items with a small farm, 24 Quickie Marts. So it's no longer a grind.
Yeah, okay. It's getting the percentage up to 2,000, which I don't have. I'm not even close. I'm like maybe 300% or something at this point.
And Ebron adds, why is a third form of currency bad? Just like with donut purchases, you can buy an item or not, spend donuts or not. Just because it's a change doesn't make it bad. People don't always buy premium characters now, even if they help with the event.
I agree with that. I would agree with that statement. I don't buy most of the premium characters. There you go. Good job, Ebron.
No, the reason why... Oh, I froze. Everything froze on my end. Can you guys still hear me? Okay,
yeah,
we're good. Yeah. The reason why, at least in my mind, I think a third currency is bad is because it punishes those people who don't donut farm, who don't go for bonus currency, because now they have to spend money on donuts to keep up with the items that are donut purchases and spend money on cash items to keep up with the items that are cash items. So it might not be bad in general, but it punishes people who already spend the money on the game. It's making them spend even more, if that makes sense.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I play totally freemium as much as I can. I admit it. And I changed the way I played like 2 years ago, and I haven't regretted it at all. So when I actually spend $5 on something, it's like, yeah, I'm like making a conscientious decision to spend $5. So again, going back to Ebron's point, you can buy or not buy. And the number of premium characters I have in options that I could buy right now is rapidly growing. I just don't care about a lot of this stuff. So there you go. I'm not going to give them $20. Sorry. I got better stuff to do.
And Jake Carguth says, I had a friend who quit when Krusty Land came because he thought they were going to make tickets a new required and devious currency. Hasn't played since. So.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, listen, I've said it before, and there are some people who think that I hate donut farmers and I hate, that's not the case at all. I absolutely, and I said this at the beginning of this, it's not anyone that's farming the donut currency. It's not your fault. I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming EA because they've made it easy and they've kind of made their bed. And now they have to lie in it. And yes, they can make the change if they want to make the change. It's more about what's interesting for me is the analysis of looking at what it might mean in the future for the game, if that makes sense.
It's funny. I've danced on it a little bit, and because Safi, I don't know. I hate to admit that in front of you, Safi, but you've become my new touchstone for the game. If Safi does it, it's okay, because I think you play really ethically. I think you're really into the game. You know all the nuances. You know the numbers, and the fact that you donut farm casually, you do it when you need to do it, when you think you're just using it as a tool, as opposed to an obsessive thing that you do constantly. You kind of got my attention with that, to be honest with you.
Generally donut farm, like honestly, since pretty much the last year, once or twice a day. So I'll set my farm up of about 56 quickie marts, usually at 6 or 7 a.m. before work. And then in the evening when I tap at 6 or 7 p.m., I'll harvest that. And then if I have time, I'll set up another farm of 56 donuts, 56 quickie marts in the evening. So usually I get about maybe 20 to 30 donuts a day. And really, like, what more do you need? Like, wow. What am I going to do with a whale, or what am I going to do with, like, it's great I can have a whale, but I don't want to spend money on a whale or donuts on a whale.
No, but I think to Alyssa's point, the fear is that the premium stuff will creep up to whale level, right?
And I feel like it's already heading that way. We've had a few items in the recent past that have been over 200 donuts.
Yeah.
I mean, I still, like, despite how many, I have usually about 500 to 700 donuts. I still don't have her Powell. I'm waiting for him to go on sale. So, yeah, just because I have the donuts doesn't mean I'm going to spend the donuts and get everything that I can.
I mean, I'll say this as somebody who spent money in this game, has been spending money in this game since I started playing it. I used to buy everything. I mean, literally everything. I would say I'm a completionist. I buy everything just because I can. At least one of everything. Even if I didn't want it, I bought it. I don't do that anymore. I'm a little smarter with my donut purchases. I really don't buy a lot of things that I just have no use for. But $100 in this game used to last me 6 months. And I bought everything. Everything. $100 in this game now lasts me 3 months. And I don't buy everything. Yeah. So that goes to show you the pricing change. I mean, I'm sure Joe can attest to that too. I mean, it's you're spending more in this game more often than you used to.
Or I buy everything because I want it, because I love The Simpsons. But yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, but again, Joe, part of the problem I see is that, again, going back to the update quality in general, you're looking at a lot of stuff that appeared in The Simpsons, as I wrote about in yesterday's post, for 3 seconds. I mean, it's like 3 seconds, and now these 3 blobs have this giant, position in this update. It's like, really?
But that's been a thing since this game first started. Honestly, you could go back and find, well, I don't know, the Ryan post. I remember Ryan saying like a quick blip and then it's gone. It's always been a thing, and it's almost like a scavenger hunt where
that's true. You have to go back
to like when you have a thing you're really into and you're like, that's there because of this. That, I mean, it's sort of those things where like elite Simpsons fans be like, I know where that is, which is one of the reasons I started doing the where did that come from, so everybody could know like those little things. Like Burns Dragon, I personally, that's one of my favorite things of this entire event, because they had that lovely little Lord of the Rings intro for that episode.
Right.
And when they went by Smog, the fact that it was Burns just made me smile. And I'm not a big Lord of the Rings fan, but I think that's cool. So of all the monsters so far, and then the ogres, of course, Lenny, Carl, and Barney, they're all from that same little segment.
Right.
So I sort of like those monsters. I think they're cool. And then they earn a lot of little silly BS stuff. But my storage is unlimited. So like the little skeletons, I like those. And I like the treasure chests. And I want to make a 3D gold pile. So I'm going to keep grinding with Burns just because I want to see if I can build like a crazy 3D gold pile for him to lay on top of. I don't know.
I think one of the other things in this event, though, or not just this event, in recent times, is that not only are prices getting higher for items, the quality of items that are becoming premium. Like if you go back to Halloween 2013, you got the Springfield Coliseum and the Duff Stadium, if I'm not mistaken, or two of those, something along those lines. And now you're getting items, buildings that previously would have been craftables or prize event currency that are now becoming premium items, like the Black Mess Hall or the Magic Hall or Magic School.
Yeah, they're just well, of course, I don't know. I mean, those of us that have played the game from day one, you could go back to like the ice cream parlor and a couple of the grocery stores that were just like, they've been in my town forever and they never do anything except earn a little bit of currency. They never had any interaction. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like the walk-in quickie mart is so cool from the anime of when, you know, CBG finally gets a wife, which could be a segue into talking about episodes. But yeah, like I like the walking quickie mart, and I like Raymundo being in the game. And if you're talking premium, like the little mini event, it was so good that I almost feel like we were set up for like failure, because that county fair was so fun. You're like, yeah, this is perfection. And then they're like, here's some Harry Plopper stuff. And
all right,
like Harry Potter and the world does, this event's probably cooler to you.
Let's take a couple of more reader thoughts on donut farming, and then we're going to jump onto something less controversial, hopefully. Silly Boy has 2 comments. He says, I don't think EA is going to switch to a third currency. I think the dollar purchases, like Squeaky Voice Peasant, are a concession to people who don't want to spend to donut farm and would rather spend money. And he also says, you talk about how donut farmers brag about having everything, but I can tell you as a donut farmer that I don't have everything because I refuse to spend money for the dollar offerings, like Squeaky Voice Peasant. One thing I've noticed is that most people that donut farm are people who don't tend to spend money in the game. So that's one thing. But Silly Boy, I'm not calling you out specifically. I know you always feel like I'm calling you out specifically. It has nothing to do. There's certain players in my mind I'm thinking of, and you're not one of them when I say that they brag about having everything. I promise. I know that there's a good majority of donut farmers that don't have everything, that don't buy everything just because they can. Safi's one of them. So, I mean, even Patrick doesn't donut farm, but Patrick grinds like hell on the monorail to get his donuts. And I guarantee you he's been grinding since the monorail, they took away the thing. So he probably racked up a ton of donuts from that. So it's not, that's not the focus of my conversation starter with this. The focus of this is the people who, that's all they do. They build up the donuts. They've got 3,000, 4,000, 5,000% bonuses. They have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of donuts that they don't need. They buy stuff that they don't need. Every inch of their Springfield is covered with stuff like the duplicates of things just because it adds to their bonus percent. I know that there are people out there who donut farm, who work bonus percentages and have really nice towns still. And I know there are people out there who donut farm and work high bonus percentages who don't buy everything and buy what they want, buy what they need. I get it. I promise. I understand. So that's not what this is about. I promise. Go ahead, Pat. Do you want to say something?
I was just going to say, yeah, I don't get the obsessive percentage thing. I mean, it's like Rain Man has taken over on some aspect of the game where they're literally just freaked about what their percentage is or how many millions or how many billions or whatever. It is that hoarder thing. It's like a weird hoarder mentality. I'd like to go into their house and see how many gum wrappers they had from 1926. You know, I don't know. It's weird. It's just, I don't get it.
A couple more things. Broder says, I think bonus and bonut farmers are a minority at the moment, but quickly on the rise. You only need to look at the EA forums to see that. And Charles says, I don't think EA will change in the future. When they need cash, they will offer an item for cash. But donut farming is no different than Springfield Heights converting coffees to statues. They made the monorail unlimited to increase giving donuts to players. And Ebron says, what items in your life are not more expensive than a year ago? Groceries, gas, cable, utilities. I don't think that prices going up should be a surprise to anybody. and game currency or characters is no exception.
Well, they did make the drink special at McDonald's $1. It went down. You can get any size drink now for $1. I found that out when I got My Little Pony.
All right, let's switch gears because we're running long again. Let's talk about season 29 of The Simpsons. 3 episodes in. Treehouse of Horror airs tomorrow night for those in the U.S. and Canada, or for those who stream it on the internet. Has it gotten better than the season premiere? I know, Safi, you weren't here when we talked about the season premiere, but I know, Joe, you loved the season premiere episode. Pat was not a fan. Safi, we didn't get your opinion. I was not a fan. What do we think about the season so far? Yeah,
I like the bits and bites of the season premiere. Overall, I think it was a good episode. It wasn't the strongest episode. Last week's episode was supposed to be the season premiere. I thought it was a better outing there. Martin Sheen was hilarious as always. Martin Short, excuse me, not Sheen. And yeah, having Fat Tony and Marge and like having a canon episode, I thought was a much better episode than the Simpsons.
Pat,
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Deb and I watched both episodes together, and Deb's not a huge fan, but she does weigh in on this episode blows or not. And the first one she hated, and the second one she goes, "Oh, that was really funny. It was really clever. I really liked it." And so I feel the same way. It was back to kind of canon. It was using the characters in the right way, in my estimation. I liked it.
Look.
End of story.
Episode 2 was really, really good with Sad Girl and Marge and Martin Short. It was a lot of fun. Episode 3 is so far my least favorite. Not a big fan of Whistling Maggie and Bordello Marge. I mean, I don't know. I watched both episodes last night as I was like falling asleep, so it might have had something to do with it. But I don't know, like Grandpa whistling with 3 holes in his mouth. Like I don't know.
I got news for you. I kept trying to do that myself for about an hour. I figured when you get old, maybe you acquire that talent.
The trick is no teeth.
I was plugging my lips. I didn't think it was that bad. It wasn't as good as number 2. I agree with you on that.
2 was the best.
And I think that was it, because I watched them in a row. So I watched episode 2 and then I watched episode 3 right after without a break. I think if I had waited the week and then watched episode 3, because I love The Simpsons, period, unless it's every man's dream. So, yeah, I mean, there was some fun stuff with like Marge being an interior decorator. I think my episode 2, there's this great moment where Lisa and Marge are working and Homer and Maggie are walking behind to get pizza. And he like pulls out a slice for him and a slice for her. And then there was that moment in episode 3 where like he's watching her, but he's like drinking the beer, and he discovers that him drinking the beer is the same as her with the pacifier. And like whenever I want more Homer and Maggie together, because they're the most hilarious comedy duo ever. They're so good.
So Book always calls Riley Baby Maggie. Since her middle name's Margaret. So every time I see Baby Maggie, I always think of Riley. So I really liked episode 3, which I actually watched it last night when the Yankees were stinking up the place. It made me way happier than watching Gary Sanchez drop another ball at the throw home. But I really liked the heartfelt between Homer and Maggie. Like that warmed my heart as a mom of a little one. I mean, that really I love those Homer and Maggie moments. The second episode was really good, and that should have been the season premiere. It was supposed to be the season premiere. It should have stayed the season premiere. But I liked episode 3 rather as well, just because of those Homer Maggie moments. The Marge with Fat Tony. Anytime I see Fat Tony, I laugh because Fat Tony always cracks me up. But it was a little disjointed, and honestly, maybe want to punch Helen Lovejoy in the face. But when is that?
Not a fan of Helen. That was
not a fan of Helen. Who likes Helen?
Yeah.
Well, Homer thinks she's hot, so.
Yeah, he's like, she's kind of hot for a preacher's wife, but she is a little nosy. And then his eyes dart. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. I think Maggie and Marge are the actual center of the show in some regards. There's a humanity in both of them that is so above everybody else in the show, but they don't always let it come out. Maggie just, always has that look on her face like, holy moly, I can't believe I'm in this group. And yet she has compassion for everybody around her, which is kind of cool. So deep.
Except when she's shooting Mr. Burns.
No,
the
everybody
old
wants to
bastard
shoot Mr.
deserved
Burns. Yeah, come
on. Yeah, so I would say that season 29 so far is off to a good start. I mean, 2 solid episodes, 1 okay episode. Wasn't great, but it was okay in my mind. So I would say season 29 is off to a solid start. To me, you guys agree, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I've had some friends with the Surf Sins after that came out, and I explained it to them like, hey, it's non-canon, but as long as you invest yourself in there, like Simpsons Bible stories or whatever, and then pointed out that they needed to pay attention to the really smart humor, like really listen to what they're saying, and then laugh at these jokes that are flying over people's heads. And my one buddy came back and he was like, oh my goodness, that was one of my favorite episodes in a long time, because I had him armed for it instead of just turning on your TV and being like, what now? Like, so.
Okay, so I'm losing battery here. I'm just going to warn you. I'm going to say, here's the only thing I didn't like about episode 1 was the violence. It was just ridiculous, stupid. It was just thrown in there almost. I don't know. It was jarring to me. I didn't find it to be funny. It wasn't even itchy and scratchy funny. So whatever. Okay, so I'm telling you, I'm losing battery, so I may disappear. So,
okay, so we'll get the Treehouse of Horror episode tomorrow. So we'll see how that pans out. Brooders wants to know why we didn't get an episode tie-in for the season for the Treehouse of Horror. And Brooders, I think it's because this event doesn't really warrant anything from the Treehouse of Horror entering it, if that makes sense. Like, the Treehouse of Horror episode this year is going to be very, it looks like there was Exorcist references and a couple other things. Yeah, cannibalism. It just doesn't seem like it would fit in with this event. So that's probably why I'm guessing it just doesn't flow right. I think they just really gave us more Surf Sins than anything else this year. So let's just take a couple questions, then we'll go to the Halloween stuff we talked about. So let's see. Happy Tapper, hi Sam, wants to know, do you think the content is overly important if the event contains something cool and original with an ongoing theme that feels nice and unique, like ghosts in previous Halloweens? So is content important if the event has something cool and original?
Yes, content's always important. They're supposed to tell a story. Sorry, Sam. I mean, otherwise we're just kind of waiting around for what we get to buy or get. I want content. That seems to be the laziest part of these updates, is the content is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So,
okay. Then.
Yeah, I think on a mini event you can base it around one cool item, but when you have these major events, especially like Halloween and Christmas that are their staples, you have to have a good story, good content to go with it. When we're expecting that, then yeah.
Look, you have any?
For what?
For Sam's question, you have any input?
What was this? Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking up something.
Now I approved it. He wants to know if you think content is important if the event has something cool or original in it. Like, is content important to an event if the event theme, I guess, itself is cool?
Yeah, I mean, storytelling, content. You're not going to please everybody. So if you don't like this event, wait for the next one. And then I sincerely hope that EA doesn't have a Nightmare Before Christmas Halloween event planned to make Alyssa mad during Christmas.
Okay, the concept of that just made me laugh. I would think that's hilarious.
You think I'm mad now?
Yeah,
I know.
To say.
But I'm just telling you, they did One Christmas with Pagans, and you want to see Alyssa mad. Watch if they mess up Christmas. Ugh, 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 ugh.
Well, the other thing too, to Sam's point, story, and what Patrick said too, and everybody else really said, story is important. I mean, the Stonecutters event, they made an entire event on one episode. And because they carried the story through, because they followed through on the content for it, it worked. And to this day, it's everybody that played it, it's still their favorite event.
Most of the old
One
updates,
episode.
but most of the old updates were like that. They spun off of an episode and they really fleshed it out. This whole thing of gathering bits and pieces from 20 shows that might come together because it's a funny looking ogre, I don't get it. And so the stories are just that disjointed. It's like, oh, look, here's that fat guy with the beer can again. Oh, look. You know, it's like, what? You know, I don't know.
So Sam also wants to know, what if Maggie didn't shoot Mr. Burns? Marge did, but due to Mr. Burns' love to Marge, he decided to change MS to mean Maggie Simpson.
Yeah, that's it. He's writing another update. So there you go.
Does it? But Marge has the same initials. So, I don't know.
Well, he's saying Mr. Burns meant to say Marge Simpson and instead said Maggie because he loves Marge.
Oh, okay.
No.
And Jake Cargith asks, Wookie, what is your least favorite episode, if not for Every Man's Dream?
Yeah, maybe the one where like Bart has the doppelganger kid, the Woosterfield kid, and like they end up in Aspen at the very end. Maybe like that one sort of like strikes me as being sort of. And then there was one where Bart had two moms. It's like Bart has two mommies or something, which it's, I think, yeah. I love The Simpsons, so it's hard. You know, I like all the episodes, but maybe that double boy in trouble episode, or there was another one like where they went to Louisiana and like Homer's supposed to have mental issues, but it's really like over and insensitive. It's like where the alligator, and then they have to go down to Florida or something. So, but I mean, I like all the episodes. It's just some of them I like more than others. But I hate one episode, and the reason it's the very first Simpsons episode where I literally was just like, no.
What's the name of that episode again, Wookie?
It's Every Man's Dream.
And who's the character you hate in that episode, Wook?
Lena Dunham's character.
Oh, that's right. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Lena Dunham. I'll go right there. I'll just go right to the map. Not a fan.
I was like, I have to find something good about every episode, and so it's Oedipus Rex, the mom and pop, and they cross off pop and say mom and son pharmacy. That's the only good thing. That's a funny side gag.
All right, a couple more. Brooders wants to know if you've been spying, Hunter Patrick. She got all obsessed over My Little Pony on TOUK when she won the Wizard Unicorn, and she calls him Stabby.
I'm fine being called Stabby. That's better than Pinky Buns or whatever.
Pinkie Pie.
Pinkie Pie. There we go. All right. Good.
And now she also wants, because we've put this in her head, now she really wants a Nightmare Before Christmas event.
Oh, there we go.
And let's see, Beth adds, I'm a Harry Potter fan, so this event is mildly good for me. I say mildly because I think the events last too long. On another note, I have so many items in storage from events K, like this. Maybe on Christmas Day, they could allow us to sell off some of our trinkets. I would be happy with a few extra dollars or a donut or two.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so let's talk about our thought-provoking question. So your favorite Halloween memory, when you stopped trick-or-treating, did you ever even go trick-or-treating, and what's Halloween like for you now? So let's start with Wook on this one.
I love Halloween. So I don't know, there's so many good memories. Like I was a Care Bear, I think, for like 4 years when I was a little kid. Worst Halloween would be either when I got punched in the face and my candy got stolen because I was a short, fat kid. Or honestly, while I love my cousin, I'm 9 years older than him. He was born on Halloween. And that Halloween, I didn't get to go trick-or-treating because there were no adults around to take me. And I was sitting in my Care Bear costume at home, unable to go trick-or-treating. And it was really sad.
So when did you...
My entire family dressed up as Star Wars characters. I was Chewbacca. Heather was Han Solo, little guy was an Ewok, and my oldest daughter was Jabba the Hutt. And it was amazing.
When did you stop trick-or-treating? How old were you? Well,
Wait, are you supposed to stop trick-or-treating?
How old were you when you got punched in the stomach and had your candy
The
stolen?
face, and that was like
Oh, sorry.
15.
Okay.
Oh, well,
So I think we have our answer
you
there.
should have been too old.
Um,
I would have punched you too.
No.
15? Come on.
That's why I started having kids at 19 so I could keep going.
There we go.
All
It
right.
was for the tax incentives and the trick-or-treated, friends.
Those write-offs, man. Patrick, how about you?
So I'm from the era when you mostly made your costumes, and we were really into the gore. We were into like making headless things, and one year as a World War I pilot that had been shot down. It was all great stuff. We had a lot of fun up until I stopped trick-or-treating at like 13, Wookie. Only because it started getting weird. That's when you started doing, half of your friends wanted to go out in egg houses or soap windows. And I was conflicted. So I started taking over, scaring the people at our house. Currently, trick-or-treating is really fallen off in the state of Oregon for a ton. But because Mrs. Miller is a teacher, people drive out of their way to come to our house and get stuff. And so we get to see like this giant range of students that Mrs. Miller's taught. My favorite trick-or-treating, I'm going with Wook, was when my own kids were at the right age, and we just had a blast. It was fun hauling around these little, kids that were from like 5 to about 9. When they were like 9, 7, and 5, that was like, that's the time. 'Cause it's still magic. We could still run. If the weather was good, we could cover 150 houses. It was great fun.
So did you skip trick-or-treating when they were 8 and 6?
No, I kept going. It just was more fun when they were at that age. Because later on, it became mercenary. They became like, okay, this is a machine. How many houses can we hit?
they became little candy farmers.
Exactly. So that's kind of where I am. I like Halloween. Okay, yeah. It's not my favorite, but yeah, I like
dressing up with your kids is the best. Like one of my favorite pictures of my oldest daughter is me and her dressed as Dalmatians, and she's like 1 foot tall, and I'm like 6.5 feet tall. So
yeah.
It's just I like that. I like the family atmosphere of Halloween. I think that's what I appreciate about it now. You can actually turn it into something fun. And Halloween parties with friends, yeah.
How about you, Seth?
Yeah,
I guess my favorite part was actually coming home afterwards. I mean, I used to love dressing up as Skeletor or Power Rangers or Ninja Turtles, but it was when I used to come home and open the bags and see what I got. I mean, most parents would give us like little mini chocolate bars, but my favorite was when you'd open it and get like a full like chocolate bar. I used to love that. But sadly, my story of when I stopped trick-or-treating is a sad one. I was 12 years old, and I was also a fat kid. I was very sensitive to whatever other people would think about me. And I went to like 4 or 5 houses, like parents would say, "Aren't you a little old to be trick-or-treating?" So I took it to heart and stopped trick-or-treating. Only later did I realize that they were referring to my costume. That year I went as a senior citizen with like a clean suit, a white wig,
wow,
glasses, and tragic story.
You were super sensitive and bailed on it, even though it was self-induced. I get it.
It was how tragic.
That is tragic. That is tragic.
So what do you do now?
To tell you guys this and share my pain.
It's therapy session. So what do you do now for Halloween, Seth?
Nothing much. I got my little nephew now. He's about to turn 2 this year, or in January. So I just eat his candy.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
all we do is buy too much. That's the deal. We just buy too much candy on purpose. So we always.
I'm gonna ruin everyone's Halloween buzz and say once again how much I hate Halloween, because when I was 6, not 15, 6. Got a hole in my bag after walking around for hours upon hours and lost all of my candy by the time I got home. And I broke down in tears. I was so upset. Parents had to go to the store and buy me a bag of candy because I wouldn't stop crying. And I'm getting tears now just talking about it. It was so
and that was it. And that was the end of it right there.
I honestly stopped trick-or-treating when I was 9.
Okay. What is Baby Maggie gonna be for Halloween?
She is going to be Minnie Mouse. I promise I do not pass my hatred of Halloween off to my child. We go for her benefit. We do trunk or treat every year because it's way easier when you have a little kid. So we just go to all the cars. We have 3 of them to do this year. And then my husband eats all her candy because she's too little for it still. But she's going to be Minnie Mouse. She's very excited about it, so I'm not ruining her buzz. And I also got her a bag for Halloween that cannot have a hole in it. So, but it's fun. I honestly, now I enjoy it more having her, and I enjoy it even with my nieces and nephews prior. I still went trick-or-treating with them, went out with them, because it's fun to see the kids how excited they get when they're little. So I agree with Pat that age is like the sweet spot.
Yeah. So do people still come to houses? I mean, do you guys still have houses coming to your, or kids come to your house?
This house, we don't get anyone because we live on a dead end, so no one comes to it. But our old house, I would actually go out on Halloween because I would go trick-or-treat with my nieces and nephews. And we'd leave candy out on the porch, and naturally, when I got home, all the candy was gone. But this house, I left candy out on the porch last year, and no one took any. So we had not only Riley's candy, but a big basket of candy that we put out on the porch. So
yeah, we traditionally get about 110, 115 kids, something like that. That's kind of the average now.
So a couple of reader responses to this. First, Bruder Safi wants you to blow her a spooky kiss.
Spooky kiss. How do you do a spooky kiss? All right, I'll come back to that. Just 1 second.
And okay, so Timothy, no, that's about crafting. Pure Evil says, I stopped trick-or-treating in 9th grade, removed, and the houses were so far apart, it was pointless. My favorite memory is when I was 17, I had just gotten my driver's license and drove my mom's car off on a ramp into a tree head on. My mom put the wreck in the front yard, added a ghost driver, and used it as a centerpiece of our Halloween display this year. It's a way to make Halloween consists of us celebrating the boy's birthday, decorating the yard, taking the kids out trick-or-treating. I'm sure this won't make me very popular with some people, but I hate donut farmers. I 100% believe they're the biggest reason all premium characters are so expensive now. I wish EA had the guts to just end farming once and for all, instead of punishing those of us who don't farm. I should have read that earlier. And Bruder says, me and my 8-year-old son do an annual zombie walk every October for charity. It's to raise awareness for brain tumors. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's true. There are also 100 or so of us, and we collect we collect for the cancer charity while I give out chocolate eyeballs to any kids watching. Last year I went as Dead Bride, and my son went as Michael Jackson from Thriller. We learned the dance moves too.
Nice.
Let's see, there's a few more.
Do you get that spooky kiss yet, Seth?
I'll do it.
Let's see.
He's frozen. That's spooky.
Oh.
Yeah.
You got it, Saf? Oh, no. We lost it.
I'll let you know.
It's
okay, you still don't have it yet? Okay. Amy says, this is kind of a generalized thing. I like the event and I like the characters, the buildings and decorations. I think one of my favorite parts of this event is the Beast Enchanter prizes that you get from releasing the Beast. However, like a bunch of other people, I have to say, this does not really say Halloween to me, and it's more of a Harry Potter themed event. I wish we had the ability to send kids trick-or-treating. In my opinion, there should be ghosts and zombies and eerie Halloween music that says Halloween to me. Crafting prizes are lame, and I feel like it's EA took the easy way out using stuff from the past events, while meanwhile the show has been on for 29 seasons, and I think that have plenty to choose from since the show has been on for so many years. And she also asks me how old Riley's going to be on her birthday and what is she going to be for Halloween this year. So I already said she's going to be Minnie Mouse, and she will be 2. Let's see. Primal Homer says, stop trick-or-treating after grade school. Best memories, popcorn balls, candy cigarettes, wax skeletons. Halloween now is buying a costume for our son and giving out candy. It's more of a chore than a holiday. And then I like TSTO and donut farming.
Candy cigarettes. Boy, he's dated. I remember candy cigarettes too.
Those are my mom's favorite. Every time we play the wheel at the boardwalk where you can win candy, that's what we get.
Yeah, there you go.
It's weird, I know, but
they're probably left over from 1967.
Probably they taste like it too. They taste like it too. Leave that nice chalky film in your mouth.
Yeah,
takes me back.
That's great.
Beth says, favorite Halloween memory is the one house that made you sing a song or do an act to get a treat. A full-size candy bar. We were afraid to do it, but could not pass up the large treat. Now I enjoy taking out my grandchildren. Last year, we all dressed up as characters from The Wizard of Oz.
That's cool.
Nice.
I think there are a couple more. I'm just trying to find
I
them.
got
Safi, you got that kiss figured out yet?
Yep. So that's Casper and Wendy. So I like to think that I'm Casper and Bruder's is Wendy.
Oh, wow. Aw.
Aw.
Safi said, can I keep you?
Let's see.
Friends, I think I actually need to roll. I've got work in like an hour.
All right. Well, let's wrap.
I'm really sorry.
That's all right. We'll wrap it up. We'll well, you could say goodbye if you need to leave, and then I'll close it.
Bye, friends. It was a lot of fun, but I gotta go make money with the mouse. So
bye,
have
Will.
fun.
Bye.
He says bye. All right, bye.
All right. So everyone else, we are running long, so we're gonna wrap it up as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. The next episode should be November 4th, which is like 2 weeks. So we'll check everybody's schedule, make sure that works. But that's the plan. Unfortunately, Halloween will still be going on. So hopefully we'll have more pleasant things to talk about for Act 3. But there's nothing else going on except for Thanksgiving. And I don't want to ruin all of our the Americans' Thanksgiving by having an episode around then. So I think November 4th is probably what we're going to do, but we'll talk about it. So we'll have an announcement up as we always do. Anybody else have anything they want to add?
Nope.
No, I'm going to go listen to some Elton John. I go ahead and I'm going to go with it. I'm going to listen to some Elton John and enjoy it.
Seriously, that's no joke. Like, I think you look like Elton John more than a My Little Pony.
I may wear these all day just because I could. I'll wear them while I'm watching the Duck game. I'll wear them tonight when I go to the comedy show. It's going to be great.
It's 2017. You probably won't get too many dirty looks.
It is. No, it's
so I'm going to give Bookie a quick plug because he left early. LaughingUpFuzzball.net is his podcast. Listen if you want to hear ramblings from Mook. Saf, do you have anything to add?
No, I mean, it's a Harry Potter themed event. So, I mean, I guess I could say to Brooders, you must play Quidditch because you're a keeper.
Oh!
Wow.
All right. Now that we've got shameless Addicts Live flirting going on, and I've got a 2-year-old running around upstairs, it's time to sign off. So we'll see everyone in a couple of weeks. Enjoy your actual Halloweens. Have fun. Get lots of candy. And we'll see you guys all later. Bye-bye.
Later.
Bye.